Do you know why most people miss their goals? And no, it's not a lack of talent or some special set of circumstances. They lose because they never actually dared to pick a side. They're just drifting in the shallows of their own vague desires, setting soft, comfortable goals that reek of mediocrity. You've seen these people. They're always about to start. They consume content by the ton, get a 30-minute hit of motivation after a video, and then, boom, right back into a coma. They have no vector, no backbone. Their heads are empty spaces that immediately become breeding grounds for excuses. Look, the first step to actually reinventing yourself is always damn painful. Do you know why? Because it burns every bridge. You need to sit down and pour out everything you want onto paper, but not in a "it would be nice someday" kind of way. I mean every single detail. Don't keep it in your head. You can always negotiate with your conscience there. Carve it into stone. Put it on paper. Put it somewhere where you can't run from the truth. Write it down specifically. How many pounds to lose? How many miles to run? What kind of iron willpower you need to build? Write down the habits that are currently poisoning your life like radiation. When you write it down, you gain focus. And once you have focus, the negotiations are over. I've lived this. When I was choking on my own weakness, overweight, scared, and lying to myself, I didn't just wake up one morning inspired. I had to slam into an icy reality. I looked in the mirror and saw a guy who had made comfort his religion. And that truth burned me worse than any muscle ever could after a workout. Do you know what I did? I grabbed a notebook and I started giving myself orders, not dreams, direct commands. Get up and run. Drop the junk food. Do the thing that makes you want to quit. That notebook became a contract between the nobody I was and the man I swore I would become. Discipline only comes alive when you have structure. Every week needs to be a tactical map, and don't expect life to play along. It'll probably do the opposite. If you don't design your own growth, your laziness will design it for you. You don't need perfect conditions. You need to be true to your word. 5 workouts, a few hours of learning, and time alone with your demons. Whether it's convenient or not doesn't matter. It has to be done. I hear it all the time. I don't have time. Listen, that's just another lie your laziness is whispering to you. You don't need hours. You need fury in the moment. 40 focused minutes will change you more than 2 hours of faking it. Your body and your mind respond to intensity, not the numbers on a clock. When you act like your life depends on it, your brain realizes, okay, this isn't a hobby, this is survival. Look at yourself. Your body and your mind are machines. If you don't maintain them, they rot. Feed them discipline and they'll give you power. Training isn't a punishment, it's an investment. It's an oil change for your engine or a replacement for the broken parts of your character. No, you won't be perfect tomorrow. You'll have slips, you'll have failures. But do you know the difference between the people who grow and the people who decay? The ones who grow simply keep showing up at the starting line. Comfort feels safe, but it carries a hidden tax. Every time you run from a challenge, you lose a piece of respect for yourself. And that deficit slowly burns away your courage. Discipline works the other way. Every promise kept is proof that you can be trusted. And self-trust is the foundation of your mental armor. The truth is brutal. You don't need a spark to start. You need a decision and action without the right to appeal. Start before you're ready. Move before the confidence shows up. That is the only way it works. Ask yourself right now, if your life were being filmed by a hidden camera, would it show the giant you claim you want to become, or the couch you are afraid to leave? Most people spend their entire lives running from discomfort, not realizing they're running away from growth at the same time. Discomfort isn't the enemy, comfort is. Once you understand that the struggle isn't a punishment, but a calibration, everything changes. Every morning when your mind begs you to quit is just another set in the gym of your identity. You're proving to your brain, I'm the one in charge here. I learned this the hard way. When I was running on broken feet, when the exhaustion was so deep I was hallucinating, there was no glory in that. Those were dirty, quiet battles in the shadows where no one was clapping for me. But that's where the steel is forged. Your brain adapts to whatever you feed it. Seek only peace, and every little problem will feel like a catastrophe. But if you walk into the fire yourself, fear loses its edge. Anxiety stops calling the shots because you have the facts. You are effective even when things are total hell. Pressure isn't always destruction. Sometimes it's tempering. Stop being a victim of your circumstances. Become the protagonist of your own saga. Even if you're in the dirt right now, in doubt, at the very back of the line, you have every reason to stay down, but you choose the climb. Imagine being watched, not when you're on stage with a trophy, but when you're alone, exhausted, and want to quit. What would that footage show? Heroism isn't an emotional burst. It's consistency under pressure. When you show up where it's difficult, you send a message to headquarters. My goals are non-negotiable. Inside every one of us lives an enemy. It whispers, maybe tomorrow, you're tired. That's resistance. It has killed more dreams than a lack of talent ever could. The problem isn't the excuse, it's the habit of obeying it. Self-respect is built on small, quiet promises. Waking up earlier, doing the work, not lying. When you break those oaths, you lose faith in your own word. And without that, confidence is just a cheap mask. I hid behind excuses until I realized every time I chose comfort, I became smaller. Do you know the difference between an amateur and a pro? The amateur waits for the right mood. The professional works because it's who they are. They just follow the protocol. You don't defeat resistance once and for all. You fight it every single morning, and the victory is always the same. You just get out there and do it. Avoiding reality erodes your dignity. The gap between who you are and who you could be creates a poison called regret. The battle for honor is won in the small things. And for God's sake, don't believe the lie that your past is a death sentence. Your mistakes aren't a cage, they're just data. I used to think my failures were proof that I wasn't built for greatness. But growth requires the courage to unglue your memory from your identity. You are not the person who tripped a year ago. You are the one who survived and learned. The danger isn't the fall. It's the decision that the fall is your final point. Many people are stuck because fear convinced them to build walls around their potential. Yeah, honesty is painful, but that pain isn't a punishment, it's an awakening. It is the starting point of your freedom. Time doesn't destroy opportunities. You destroy them when you refuse to see them. So get up and finally start drawing your own blueprint.